Internet! Welcome to 2.5 Brains. We're talking about The Amazing Race Season 32, Episode 6. Breaking it all down here. Be sure to subscribe so you get all of our videos whenever we get them out. Trying to be as consistent as we can with that. It's not been as easy lately, but definitely subscribe so you do get all the updates. You can tweet me directly at YoGrabAGabba. You can email the show, pavementroadproductions@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/pavementroadproductions. Let's go ahead and bring in the co-host, the one and only Jessica. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
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 Hello. How are you doing, Jessica?
I'm fantabulous. How are you?
I'm good. I like the new set piece here.
Had to change it to winter.
Indeed.
Winter. Has a winter background.
Now is winter coming. Winter is coming. Winter is here.
Winter has arrived.
It has arrived, indeed. Mm-hmm. So, even though it was like 50 2 days ago, but it's like snowing. That's cool.
Buffalo winter.
Indeed. Bailey is here as well. He may make his appearance known. He probably will.
He's trying to play right
now. Very opinionated. So we'll see. Jessica, how do people find you on Twitter?
JessT820.
JessT820. Awesome. So let's go ahead and dive in here. Any preliminary stuff? I want to just get started with what happened in this episode.
I don't really give you a synopsis. We're kind of going through it anyways, but it was a good episode.
It was cool. It's been a fun season.
Got a shocking ending apparently, but I wasn't that surprised as I figured I was going to be.
It was a
fun episode.
Ridiculous.
I want to go to Berlin. I want to go to Germany.
For sure.
I have a Polish shirt on. Polish. There you go. But not German. I am German. I am half German.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then the other half is like 12 other things.
4 or 5.
Yeah, 12. Yeah.
Binder.
Indeed. Phlegm.
Yes, phlegm.
Everything that's said in German sounds mean, and I love
angry.
it.
Yeah, it's angry. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Rammstein.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Putz du das Zimmer? Ja oder nein? And I know it's 9 for you.
I'm a 9 out of 10, she said. That's what it means.
Aw, yeah, okay. I was saying that
Bailey thinks that's BS.
one out of the 2 German phrases that I know. Putz du das Zimmer. Yeah. The other one's Ich bin dick.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, they went from Paris to Berlin this episode.
Yeah.
And it was actually this season seems like it's been, even though it's been kind of, there's been some bad blood here and there. It seems like there's been a lot of just like funny, wacky, quirky moments this season.
It hasn't been super high tensions much.
Right. So what happened? They got to Berlin. They all got on the same train. They had to take a train from Paris to Berlin.
Yes.
They got the train and then they got a taxi to take them to the Berlin Wall.
Yes. Where they had to find a suitcase with their next clue.
Yes.
Which is where they had to drive the tiny car, which I don't remember the name exactly they called it. It's a T-something car. Which looked impossible. And that you could push it, basically, one person. So that was light and very nothing to it.
Yeah, it was cool to see the Berlin Wall. It was neat.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I've never seen the Berlin Wall. I saw part of the Berlin Wall while I was in Hungary, but that actually was the actual wall, which was neat.
I saw a part somewhere else together. We went to another museum we went to recently.
Yeah.
I think it was in D.C.
It was.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. So that was neat. And then the tin car, or how it is.
Tin can car, basically yeah. They had to find a disco from there.
It was hilarious, though, because seeing Gary and D'Angelo, Gary's like 7 feet tall, getting in the car.
As soon as I seen the car, I knew Gary was never going to fit in there. Not
Not
very well. I mean, I don't even know how the camera person fit in there because he sat in the back and he must have been crushed back there.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually how it goes in the race when you're self-driving. When you're self-driving, when you're driving a taxi, the camera person is in the front seat with the taxi cab driver. When you're driving with yourself, one's the front seat, one's directly behind them, then the camera person is in the front as well, and they're just shooting both contestants. But it was. I mean, he was sitting in the back. His legs were like basically up on the freaking dashboard.
Yeah, it was
was so funny. But they drove from there. They get in the car to see
Panic at the Disco.
Basically, right?
The little freaking telephone booth side disco.
Yeah. So basically, they had to do a dance and it danced a disco in basically a phone booth.
Yeah, they had a rock out. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know why two teams went in at the same time, but
Well, it was Hung-in-Chi and they're both small.
well, I guess yeah, but still.
Still, it was
4 people in one. That was interesting.
It was interesting. It was interesting. They jammed out a little bit and.
It was fun.
It seemed kind of funny. Mm-hmm. They said they got the Night of the Roxbury going.
Yeah, that's funny.
What is love? I realized too, the screen capture of our last video was us standing there and the word pie, whatever, across this. They wrote pie toss, or whatever the hell it was. It was right across our chest.
Really?
You always get an awkward picture in the screen capture. But that one wasn't an awkward us face. It was just the word pie, whatever.
I'm gonna keep stopping making weird faces every once in a while, and we'll see what's the screen capture.
There you go. I think it's a great idea. Snacks.
Yes.
So after they did the disco,
Bailey, what do you got?
really nothing changed. Nothing.
Oh no! You can't have this.
Oh, Tonka.
Yeah, that's Tyler's little car.
This is basically the car they were driving. It's basically the same size, 2 scale.
Basically, yeah.
So they went the disco. Nothing would change. There was nobody who caught up or passed anybody. It was basically the teams who got out early stayed out early, and nothing. The cream rises to the top as it always does.
Yeah, but a couple people got lost trying to find it.
True.
The blondes,
True.
obviously. Ishwana Parna, and I think someone else.
Oh, Will and James, their car just died.
Yeah, they had to walk.
They had to walk the rest of the way. But they said, "Hey, we're used to running. It's fine."
Yeah, they trained for it.
What happened after the disco?
The sauerkraut rappel.
What was that, Jessica?
The word scramble while they were rappelling down the side of a building.
Yeah, so
the
phase
words
4
were
rappel.
flashing. Different letters were flashing. They had to memorize it, and then they had to scramble it.
Yeah, so they basically did a phase 4 rappel the first time that D'Angelo did it, right?
D'Angelo, yeah, they got there first because technically they took the taxi cab away from Hung-in-Chi. No.
That's way after.
No. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why they were together first.
Yeah, you're right. No, D'Angelo and Gary got to the disco first because they figured out the car first.
Correct.
Yes, okay. Yes, sauerkraut rappel. D'Angelo went first, didn't see the letters.
He was just basically afraid for his life, forward rappelling.
Free falling.
Right. It wasn't a free fall, it was a very slow walk.
Yeah.
Down the side of the building. And then he went down, didn't know what it was, went back up. And he went back up and what's her name? And then
She went next. And he made it. Well, she didn't look either the first time, right? She had to go a second time. So they made a pact then that they wouldn't leave each other.
right.
And she went down, figured it out, and then they waited for D'Angelo to come down and then told them what the word was, the sauerkraut.
Right. And then they waited for Madison and told Madison what it was. And then they told...
Madison waited for Ishwana Parna. Or no,
waited
Will and James.
For Will and James. And told them what it was. And then so the 4 of them got out of there.
And then that is when
Yes.
Gary and D'Angelo kind of stole the taxi from Hung-in-Chi. Hung-in-Chi ran past it. They didn't see it, I guess, at first, and Gary and D'Angelo took it. That's how it looked to me.
See, the way I saw it, I kind of saw it a little different. I kind of saw it as Hung-in-Chi saw the taxi, but didn't want to get just the one. They wanted to wait till there was 2 together so they could both get in.
Yeah.
That could be it too, and then Gary and D'Angelo were like, well, here's the taxi, let's jump in it.
Right.
And didn't wait for him, and so Hung-in-Chi weren't too happy about it.
Which I understand that too.
For sure. And they said, well, now we're not going to wait for anybody. Well, we had the clue we could have just left. We decided to wait for them, so I said next time we'll be as helpful as we can, but we're not going to wait.
No, and at this point you really can't with so many teams that are there, and there's only 6, and it's getting towards the end.
7 still, but it's getting down to it, yeah.
7. 6. Was it 6? 7. Yeah.
Look at your nose.
I can't count. I don't know.
It would have been 7.
It's been a long week.
It would have been 7, for sure. It would have been 6.
Whatever.
It would have been 6. You're right. So, anyways, so then they get in the taxi and they have to go travel by taxi to the detour.
Yes.
Oh, and then by the way, as they finished up too, I think it was Leo and Alana got there and Ishmar and Aparna got there. and they worked together too.
They did work together as well. Yeah.
Because they had all the letters, they just couldn't figure out what it was.
Leo and Aparna worked together, and then the blondes got there, and Leo did not want to help them out. He just told them to look for the letters. He didn't tell them what it was or give them any kind of clue or indication towards it, and then you see Aparna thanking Leo for his help. So that was
really upset them.
Stab in the back.
And they said they didn't want to leave them because they did owe, Kaylin and Haley for the detour or the U-turn back a few episodes ago.
So they gave him a little bit of help, but not really at all.
Not really much.
Help. Nothing besides what was on the clue already, which some people didn't even obviously read if they would have been looking for the letters.
Yeah, for sure. So that would cause a little bit of tension there as well.
Yeah.
So then they go ahead to the detour, and the detour decision is...
Belt it out or belch it out?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So belt it out. They had basically dressed up in a chicken costume. And
learn a German song and then walk like a chicken to win the song.
Yeah, and sing it and dance and
sell your performance.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. And what was the other one?
It was beer yoga, which signed me up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start doing that at home.
The only time I'm doing yoga is if I can do beer with it. So sounds good to me. Let's do it.
We can do that. I know the positions they did in the show.
Excellent. So basically what they had to do, though, the song was fine because they had to sing and everything, but this one they actually had to teach. So they had to know the phrase. They couldn't just do it. They had to know what it was, say the correct wording, and then show it off. Right. That was, I think honestly that was maybe the easier one to do, but it wasn't it wasn't easy.
I mean, it depends. If you're good at languages, then you do, the singing because you can learn a language pretty quickly. It's just a couple words, but the thing that helped with that is that there was there were note cards. So it's not like they had to memorize it. So that part was easier, but I do think the yoga was easier. The teaching part, though, you have to know how to teach it. Like, Hung did such a good job doing it. Obviously, they're so good at everything.
Gary did a great job with it, too.
But that's the surprising part, though. Gary taught it so perfectly well. And, I kind of expected D'Angelo, though, honestly, to be better at it. But Gary was just doing it, going through it, and they were lucky, though, that there wasn't a team behind them because they messed up their first try and they were able to restart right away.
Yeah, true. That's true.
And do it over again.
And that's what Riley and them did, and I think they had to wait for another team because they were...
I think so. I'm not sure.
Somebody else was there,
but they had to go back and learn the terms. They really didn't have the terms down. But, they were lucky they didn't have to wait for other teams to go ahead of them.
Gary's surprising the heck out of me, man.
I know. Art
and yoga. He's an NFL lineman. What the heck?
He's got a lot of free time now. He's not playing anymore.
Yes. Good Lord. Mm-hmm. Good freaking Lord.
Yeah.
But they crushed it. Hung and Chi Hung did a great job. Mm-hmm. And then Madison Riley did a good job as well. They got out pretty quick again.
Yeah. I think, were they the only ones that did that one? I don't remember if anybody else did it.
Because, the boyfriends did the dance.
Yeah.
Part of them did the dance.
Mm-hmm.
And then, everyone else did the dance, too.
Bonds did the dance. Leo and Alana did the dance.
Yep, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So the first three that got in and out did that one, and then the other four who were farther behind anyway. So it's kind of hard to see which one ended up being quicker because the teams that got there first got done first, and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That was a detour decision. What is the next one?
Why Kaylin and Haley almost lost.
Yep. Almost lost.
Again.
So, ridiculous. What happened?
There was no elimination this week, which I figured was going to happen. As soon as he said your luck might have run out, might means you're fine. You're still there.
Phil rips off the Band-Aid. Yeah. That's one thing I've always said. Mm-hmm. It says, they don't mess around with, that, they get that phrase out immediately. I'm sorry to tell you, your last name I've been eliminated for the race. They don't. He doesn't sugarcoat. He gets around, right? When he starts dancing, it's not elimination. He's like, right, exactly. Like Jessica's right now, and like Bailey is too.
Put me down. You okay?
Look at this crazy person.
I'm sorry. I'm not saving you from Danny.
Look at this crazy person. Mom, help.
No.
He's looking at you like, Mom, help.
I know. What are you letting him do to me?
You were just sniffing the whole desk, bub.
Yeah, he must smell some of my lunch from work or something.
There you go. He was, so he's like, and they knew they got like, oh, we know we're last. We know we're definitely last this time. There's no way that there's another team behind us this time because they were last the time before. The last 2 legs ago they were last. It was not elimination. They should have been last time if not for the other the other sisters getting lost. And this time like, all right, we're definitely last this time. We know. So it goes said about made a joke about being fashionably late. Yeah. This is getting ridiculous. And then said, we're lucky maybe running out.
Might be running out.
You're right. Yeah. It was, but actually it's not because it's not elimination leg and they freaked out and oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh my goodness. What did they do wrong, honey?
They don't know how to drive vehicles that are not American.
Correct.
I mean, that's basically what they did wrong.
Yeah,
they did pretty well. I mean, the word thing was hard because no one was helping them. They had a hard time figuring it out, and then was it Haley that did it? Mm-hmm. She went to like a building and was asking people for help to unscramble it, and the one girl got it pretty quickly. So sauerkraut.
Yeah, I feel like I almost wonder if the person knew what it was. Like, the way she answered, like, I feel like it's sauerkraut.
And then she's like, she thinks it's a German word.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was, it was
I don't know. I guess with the letters and stuff, who knows?
I don't know. It was interesting, but she basically went into the building where they were pelling down.
Next door to it.
Attached to it, right? Exactly. Mm-hmm. But you said, I mean, everybody else got help from somebody to get it. She was the one who didn't get help from somebody. Mm-hmm. So I feel like you're trying to unscramble that word. I figured they'd ask you, a favorite German food is, and then you'd fill in the blank, right, with the letters. They said, what's the word? Well, freaking hell do I know? It could be anything.
Right. Well, like Leo said, he could have given a hint, but he wasn't going to tell them it was a condiment.
Right.
I honestly don't think that would have helped much anyways until you went down like 2 or 3 times.
Right.
Like, the first time she wouldn't have gotten it.
Oh, she went down like 4 times, too.
Yeah.
And honestly, she should have just gone the first time and said, what's this word? Mm-hmm. And try to find somebody. If you're by yourself, you don't know, don't just, if you saw the letters, but you don't know what they are.
Right.
Going down again is not going to help you. Right? Because if you already have the letters and you remember the letters, that's not going to help you.
Yeah.
And they left like 5 hours after the first team, 2 hours. This like, but everybody got on the same train, so were back on the same spot. Mm-hmm. And nobody helping them definitely hurt. But yeah, I don't know. They seem to do decently well in the challenges. I mean, they always end up in the back of the pack. Mm-hmm. They always seem to get through relatively quickly. They just get lost. They make bad decisions. I mean, and I said, in the whole, I was surprised that the question was, "What's the word?" I thought it would be a favorite, whatever. I thought it would be actually a fill in the blank with those letters, not just what's this word? Well, there's freaking 9 letters. How the hell do I know?
Yeah.
But anyways, so they are very bad navigating. They get lost. They have, they're the ones who had to go down 4 times. That really hurt. They seem like they're just not quite in the league of everybody else. Mm-hmm. They keep finding a way. They're nothing's sticking to them. They're definitely Teflon, but they just keep sneaking through, and they almost lost again this time. They've been last or second to last, and way behind everybody else on 3 straight times, and somehow they're still here. They have a speed bump coming up, so we'll see if they can overcome it, but. The odds have really never been this long. I feel like I said to you, I said that season 33 is going to catch up to them. That's how far behind they are. Season 33 is going to lap them.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, who's that team? Oh, it's the team season 32 still. Don't worry about it.
The odds are not in their favor.
No, certainly not. But they're still there, so you got to give them credit for that. They're still there. Sure. Let's go ahead and do the power rankings on that note.
Okay.
And talk about who is number 7. Who's got the longest odds of winning right now?
Well, Kaylin and Haley.
Well, so they're still in there, but they got the longest odds of winning.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not winning it. Let's just put that out there. They're not winning it.
I can't.
They're not.
Imagine.
They're not.
I can't squint hard enough to see them winning.
I mean, they're not. They get one more leg where they have to drive themselves. And it's an elimination leg.
Right,
they're out.
Right. No, it's
they can't figure out stick shifts, like even just regular stick shifts. The tiny car sucked because it's different. But
right.
regular stick shifts give them 8 issues. So if they have another manual car, they're out.
For sure. And, they were saying, like, who was that? I can't wait to see how the Blondes are going to do this. Was that I'm going to cheer or Madison Riley?
I think Madison and Riley.
Yeah,
they said the Blondes aren't going to be able to do this.
Yeah, the driving part.
Yeah.
It's, you got to learn how to drive stick if you want to win a race. You have to. And they're it's funny, though, because there's been, again, I think there was like 1 or 2 seasons where every time there was a U-turn, it was non-elimination. So like every time seeing a U-turn, they were dead last, but it's non-elimination, like every time.
So since there was a yield tonight.
There's been yields 3 times at least already, and none of them have been used. Wow. So I don't know. I don't really know what.
Were they all in non-elimination episodes?
No, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, until the last U-turn was Jerry and Frank, and they got eliminated. So
yeah.
I don't know. I feel there's going to be a U-turn coming up soon, probably next week, but we'll see. I think it's this team's definitely struggling, so they're definitely not in the power position by any means. But maybe all the struggles will make them stronger. Who knows? I doubt it. No. I certainly doubt it. I would be, and then, who knows? Maybe they don't even go out next week. But I definitely don't see them surviving to the final 5. I just don't.
They're not winning. But anyways.
Okay. Number 6.
Leo and Alana.
And they're kind of in the same boat. They're not in the alliance.
They don't do great, but they don't do terrible.
Right.
They're average with it, but they feel like they struggle more than they do well.
And again, it's one of those things where, are they going to make the final 5? Maybe. Are they going to make the final 4? I doubt it. Mm-hmm. Just because, again, they're average, but eventually you have to be good enough to... I mean, eventually there's only good teams left.
Yeah, I mean, more teams need a game plan. Like, they didn't know where they were going. That's part of the problem. Some teams have been noticing they've been having maps already, so obviously they're planning ahead, getting a map somewhere, figuring out where they're going. So you kind of have to start doing that once it's getting towards the end with all the people there.
Definitely. And they're doing well, but they're not a top team. And I think eventually the top teams are just going to be too much.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Who we got there for number 5?
Eshwar and Aparna, who are kind of in the same boat as Lee and Alana. They're average. Not amazing, not terrible. This episode, I feel like they did a lot better than most other episodes. So yeah. I guess they're slightly improving.
The only reason I think they're better, the only thing I have on them over Leo and Alana is that they're in the alliance.
Yeah,
that's really the only thing. I think they'll get that occasional help from somebody. In this case, they help each other, Leo and Alana and Eshwar and Aparna. But I think they'll get that one little nugget of information that's going to help them be one step ahead of Leo and Alana. I think that's the only reason that they're. I don't think they're any better than the other 4 teams. I don't think they're. I think they're the 5th of the top of the alliance. I just think that the one piece of information they're going to get or whatever might be the difference. And that's the only reason I have them. I basically see them as even with Leo and Alana.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Number 4.
D'Angelo and Gary.
Yeah, so they've
been up a little bit.
Yeah, they've been all over the place. They've been lower. They've been high-ish, maybe there.
First win.
Yeah.
First win.
Yep.
Yeah, however you want to phrase it.
Yeah, so I mean, Hung and Chi won 2, and Will and James won 2. Madison Riley won 1. Now D'Angelo and Gary won 1. Mm-hmm. So the 4 members of the alliance, 4 of the 5 members of the alliance have at least one leg. Yep. And
although now Hung and Chi are a little bit salty about it because what's his name? What's his face? The guy.
D'Angelo and Gary.
No.
Oh, Phil.
Sure, Phil. Regis Phil.
Phil. He's on like 3 different shows last 2 weeks.
Phil. He told them what they missed out on for not getting there first, so that obviously has made them, puts a little salt in the wound there, which I understand, especially because Gary and D'Angelo were football players, but hey, they're retired too, so they probably need some money right now as well.
Yeah, I doubt it.
So that sucks for them.
And also, I mean, they did get lost, so they could have easily been second.
Did. Well, right, they did get lost from being their second place, yeah. So at that point, that's where they did falter on their own. For sure.
Mm-hmm. But Gary and D'Angelo, again, they're surprising me. Gary especially. I thought D'Angelo would have the goods. The most part was a little bit. Gary seemed like whatever.
Got some hidden talents on that team.
For sure. I don't think they have a wide enough, broad enough skill set to win the race.
No, but when it comes to height stuff, it seems like they're both raring to go with it. So honestly, I think that's the hardest part of the show is once they get to that kind of stuff. For heights, people, get really scared, a lot of fears, and people are going to be forced to do it that they want to because of the turns that they're taking on these. So
for sure. I mean, endurance is a big part of it. Reading your clue is a big part of it. Attention to detail is a huge part of it. And I think the biggest thing, if you look at a lot of the recent winners or winners in the last, in the history of the show, one thing that a lot of them have in common is diversity. And I'm not saying diversity in I'm saying diversity in skill set. They can do different things. They're better at certain, they're at least decent at everything.
Yeah.
There's nothing that they are absolutely abysmal at, and there may be some things that they're not amazing at, but at least they're passable at everything. I think Gary and D'Angelo don't really have that. I think they have something they're really good at. Surprisingly, some things I wouldn't think they'd be really good at that they are. But I also don't think they quite have that range. So that's why they're fourth.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Will and James.
Will and James. And they finished, I think, 4th this leg? Yeah.
Yeah, 4th.
They finished 4th.
Did pretty good on the chicken dancing.
Yeah.
Made it through on their second try, which they were also lucky that there was no one there behind them to do it again. And
as I said, they you can't really grade their singing,
Well, no, they didn't grade their singing. It was their beats. I think they were off beat. They said it was going faster than they were assuming, going faster than they were ready for.
And, maybe nerves, something like that was a factor. But
yeah.
I think, they said you gotta just have fun with it. You gotta just, be a performer, be a goofball. You're dressed in chicken costume, singing and dancing. Like, what else do you want? Like, you can't take it too seriously, right?
Yeah.
And that's when they started doing that, having fun. They really took off and did well. So, they're third for me. I think I think this pretty much is. I think they're probably the third best team. I can see them going to the final leg and finishing third. I could certainly see them winning. I do see it if they already won 2 legs. I just think they're the third best team.
They have to win 2 legs. They have 2 legs.
And they have 4 technically between 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Anywho, Jessica, who is number 2?
Madison and Riley.
Yes, and they finished number 2 this week. I really want to put them number 1. I really do. They've only won 2 legs. They've been right in it though. Yeah. I mean, they haven't. I don't think they finished lower than 3rd or 4th, and they have been maybe leg 1, but they've been right in it. The only way I see them going to number 1 for me is that the team who's currently number 1 falters, and they really haven't. Yeah. It's like I don't think
they only had 1 falter, and it wasn't anything.
It was
bad
barely in it,
though.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, so for me, when you're trying to it's like when you're racing a team who's just always in first, how do you overcome them unless they mess up, right? And that's kind of, I think, Madison and Riley. I think if the first place team wasn't there, the team gets knocked out somehow, I think they can easily be number 1 and easily be the favorite to win. But the number 1 team is just too. I think for me, I think they're just too strong.
Yeah.
And I've been really wanting to put them number 1, but I just can't because the number 1 team is still, I think, the best team.
They don't impress me as much as the first team.
I agree. I think they're great. I think they could. I mean, if they won, I wouldn't be surprised in the least. But the number 1 team, no surprise,
tongue-in-cheek,
for the 6th week in a row. Tongue-in-cheek. Why that?
Because they always get through everything. They know something's not going well, like with their detours, they move on to the next one, and they finish that one first before the people that were there before them. Like, they do most things pretty perfectly. As much as they say they don't communicate well, like, that doesn't come off at all. They're the silent killers on this show.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, their only falter was getting lost to get to the, what was it called? The pit stop. That was it. So it made them third, but
and
they were done.
Maybe being too nice. But maybe they learned that lesson.
Yeah, I had taken the alliance too much into account, but now they know not to do that, because if it's making you wait before moving on with another team, then they just gotta go. You can't wait for the other team.
And at the very least, if you go up there and say, "Hey, let's," and she gave him her word, which is just fine. And
it's the only reason she stated it, because her word means everything to her. And you're only as good as your word. lesson to everybody. You're really only as good as your word. So
For sure.
it's a true story.
For sure. I think, I would love to see them, they say, let's get to the Final Five and then we'll duke it out. That's great. But for me, I want Kaylin and Haley and Leo and Lana with me to the end.
Yeah.
Because they're the easy team to beat.
Yeah.
And also, I want, if it's, I don't want to go to the end with those 5 teams because 3 of those 5 teams are really good. At least. I mean, maybe more. But, I don't want to go to the end with them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to knock them out.
Yeah, I mean, in a way though, it's not exactly like Survivor where you're not getting votes.
Right.
You're only as good as your team, so you have to stay strong. You have to stay aware. You have to read your stuff and just work well together, and you should be fine.
Yeah. Having the alliance helps. But you don't need the votes, but also you don't need the votes, right? So if you get to the end, if I screw everybody over, who cares? You get to the end. Survivor, you can't do that because you need the votes.
Yeah.
But also in this case, you don't need them to work with you and have an alliance because you don't need that. So it's also not nearly as important to have an alliance because you don't need a pack to move together. You just need
I feel going forward, it's not going to be as strong of an alliance. People will help here and there, but I doubt it. It's getting towards the end. It's another non-elimination. So from here on out, there's maybe one other one.
One, maybe 2.
Anything.
Yeah, at the most. Mm-hmm. For sure. I agree. And I think that's kind of where we stand.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts, Jessica?
No.
Any other thoughts from you, Bailey?
You get me down.
You're the one who want to sniff the whole desk.
I don't want to be up here.
Okay, well, you're going down. Bye. Say bye, Bubba's.
He gave me the evilest look as you're holding him up there.
Bye. Ooh. All right, so that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. We'll definitely be back next episode. We'll give you a recap. So we're trying to get out, as close to when they actually air as possible. Sometimes we have editing issues. Sometimes we have uploading issues. Sometimes we have time to watch issues. But we're going to try to get it out and try to get it as consistently on Wednesday, Thursday as we can, like we used to do with Survivor. Life just keeps getting in the way. It is what it is. But we got to just keep get it out when we can. You guys don't, it's not one of those things, you're not doing anything else anyways, so might as well watch the video when it comes up. It is what it is. We're going to keep doing it, and hope you guys keep watching. Jessica, how do you find you on Twitter?
Just THMT. You can
find me on Twitter, Yo Grabba Gabba. And you can email the show, pavementroadproductions@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Pavement Road Productions, and subscribe so you get all the updates whenever we do get the show out to you. You're able to consume that content right away. Any other thoughts, Jessica?
No.
I think we're good. Mm-hmm. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Until next time, safe trip.